Half a day, welcome to the Weekend Edition. I'm Adriana Cotero. Glad you could join us. Guam and the CNMI have selected the same PFAS litigation team, and despite having separate complaints, both Office of the Attorney General say that being assisted by the same counsel builds strength. CNMI Attorney General Edward Manabusan tells KUAM that they anticipate to formalize their claims and file the case in the upcoming weeks. Manabusan and Attorney General Levan Taitano Camacho met to discuss the PFAS contamination effects on the entire Marianas.
They've done tests and they found PFAS in Saipan. So when we got authorization to go out and to obtain legal experts, we reached out to Attorney General Manabusan, and we were wondering if they would be interested in kind of engaging in the interview process with us. So they had their own team, and they were able to interview some of the firm teams that had sent proposals over, and they had their own process, but we ended up, I believe, retaining the same litigation team for both the NMI and Guam.
Then when it comes to filing these suits, there will very likely be a one Marianas approach. And you believe that'll be a stronger approach then?
You know, anytime the territories, we're always overlooked. Anytime we can kind of stick together, we're going to be stronger. So we will be handling things different. They have a different contract. They'll be filing a different complaint, but we're definitely going to be working with them and coordinating our efforts to address the problem as a region.
As we reported, the case has been transferred to a multi-district litigation court in South Carolina, and a status conference is scheduled for September 6, 2019. The Guam Environmental Protection Agency's investigation into the possible discharge of firefighting foam into a storm drain continues. As we reported, Guam EPA launched an investigation after pictures circulated of a drum sitting upside down atop a storm drain at the airport's firefighting facility. Spokesman Nick Lee tells us more.
The investigation is still active. We are still in the process of trying to wrap up some additional interviews with personnel that may have knowledge on the incident.
A source familiar with airport firefighting procedures told KUAM the drum contained PFAS-laden firefighting foam. However, the airport told us that foam was too expensive to dump down a drain. Lee confirms his agency is still requesting documents from the airport, a sign the investigation may stretch on a little longer.
We are also looking at trying to obtain some SOPs and any incident reports. That is part of the investigation process, something that we've requested for from the airport. So they're working closely with us on that.
Meanwhile, Guam EPA is following up on two Tuman dump sites reported on by KUAM News. Solid waste issues at the Verona Hotel, where our cameras captured a sloppily maintained area behind the hotel and several broke down, rusted out vehicles. We also reported on a massive illegal dump located at an abandoned parking structure where a mountain of household trash was dumped. Both properties owned by developer David Su. Su blamed homeless people for dumping trash on his properties.
The property owner is working with the agency to address the solid waste issues on the parking lot structure in Tuman. The agency understands that the solid waste that's been placed on that property may not be completely attributed to the property owner, but we are giving the property owner guidelines and recommendations on how to better maintain this facility to keep it clean.
Lee did say that ultimately property owners are responsible for their property. Su, meanwhile, has told KUAM that he tried to chase homeless squatters out of the parking structure, but he was unsuccessful after one homeless individual chased after him with a stick. GVB did a cleanup of the area in 2016, and GVB head Pilar Laguana issued a stern statement condemning the dumping when we notified her agency of the dump site smack dab in the middle of our tourist district. A member of the Guam Preservation Trust Board is calling out the Navy for not maintaining a National Register of Historic Places site at South Finnegason. GPT board member Dave Lott says Acting State Historic Preservation Officer Pat Lujan should meet with the military to find out why the site hasn't been treated properly in accordance with laws protecting historical areas. Lott's giving KUAM before and after pictures of the site. The before pictures Lott took in 1977, the after pictures taken last week.
South Finnegason was at one time a Navy housing area, and the Navy took efforts in the 1970s to preserve the latte. This site is located on the National Register of Historic Places, and like every federal agency, the Navy has an obligation to maintain this site. What I witnessed was the place had been abandoned and deteriorated. There was a sign that was smashed, and the vegetation is overgrown. Now, putting this in the perspective of the National Historic Preservation Act in Section 106, lack of maintenance is an adverse impact on the cultural resources.
Meanwhile, Acting Shippo Lujan tells KUAM News the site has been on the register since 1975, and the, quote, preservation efforts have been in place since then, and no project has disturbed the Laddie set since then. Lotz, however, says he has sent an email to Lujan calling for him to sit down with the Navy about the site.
I am hoping that he will instigate Section 106 consultation with the Navy on this.
But Lujan says the Navy will upgrade the landmark when it starts work on its upcoming solar farm project. Guam's public mental health facility is now part of a national program that helps recruit and provides incentives to attract much-needed clinicians. Julia Santos has this report.
The Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center was recently approved by the Health Resources and Service Administration to be a member of the National Health Services Corps. Two main services provided by the NHSC are recruitment and incentives for newly graduated clinicians to work on Guam. Reina Sanchez, who led the application process, explains the Wellness Center's recruitment needs.
We always have shortages for our psychiatrists and our psychologists. And we have a pool that's kind of aging, so we have to start thinking about, okay, how are we going to increase our pool of psychiatrists and psychologists, especially here at Guam Behavioral Health.
Being an approved NHSC site puts behavioral health on a national online registry called Health Workforce Connector that will allow the center to recruit qualified vetted candidates to satisfy the diminishing number of clinicians on island. Another recruitment need is for substance abuse counselors.
Eventually, when the application opens up again, we'll look at getting a site certification for substance use treatment.
Sanchez says the site certification will allow behavioral health to train individuals to counsel addicts. As for the incentives, she explains how the NHSC provides assistance.
We have a health shortage, professional health shortage here. Not a lot of people want to come here. So one way to kind of incentivize a person is that, if you come here, they will their loans will get repaid through the National Health Service Corps.
Sanchez pointed out that local clinicians have a better understanding of the cultural effects on our mental health. She hopes that the NHSC incentives will attract locals pursuing careers in mental health.
There's an opportunity for them to come back. They come through loan repayment. They can come back to the islands, back to their families, also service their people. And there's one way to do it and not have their debts, over their shoulders. The National Service Corps can help reduce their loans, and they'll be able to make a living here.
Based on research conducted by Sanchez, behavioral health serviced approximately 1,769 patients between December 2018 and June 2019. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Julia Santos.
Stay tuned. Next on Weekend Edition, we have trend spotting and still to come, the Guam Crime Stoppers report.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
The summer of Jeep, Compass, Cherokee, Wrangler, Cars Plus, and Mighty. Your new adventure starts now. Buy the 2019 Motor Trend SUV of the year and get a new Jeep Wrangler Sport for $268 per paycheck. Or get a new Jeep Compass Sport, only $167 per paycheck. Let them hear you coming in the new 2019 Jeep Cherokee. Buy for $205 per paycheck. And get financing as low as 1.99% on all Jeep models. Come see why you'll be kicking it at Cars Plus in Mighty. Driven by you.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
Half a day, I'm in the club.
Half a day, welcome to Two Lovers Point.
Half a day, I'm in the club.
The KUAM Podcast Network is on demand and available anytime for you to get your fill of the hottest topics from Teen KUAM.
These types of things are happening.
From news.
He has been in and out of jail since 2012.
To pop culture.
There's a bunch of people even saying now this is the greatest movie of all time.
That's crazy.
Health and nutrition.
We're putting all these chemicals into our body, all these preservatives, and down the line we have health issues.
Food.
I'm very passionate about really good food.
Nostalgic playlists and everything in between.
This guy has worked with Justin Bieber, DJ Khaled, Chance the Rapper.
The amount of fangirling right now that's happening inside this body is crazy.
So listen up whenever and wherever and subscribe and follow us today on SoundCloud, on Apple Podcasts, and on Spotify or your favorite podcast platform.
You don't need to go anywhere else to get your news.
One and done.
You don't need to go anywhere else to get your music and entertainment.
One and done.
Oh, and social media? Yeah, we got you.
One and done.
KUAM Communications on multiple platforms from any device. It's your source to go to, connecting Guamanians all over the world with home.
One and done.
One and done.
Half a day, Guam. I'm Asha Robles, and these are your thoughts on this week's top stories.
A breadfruit mishap in Agate resulted in the unfortunate death of one man. Gus Santos passed away after he and his brother, John Santos, were picking breadfruit from a tree that was near a power line. Picking breadfruit in their village was something that the brothers often did. However, this time the two went out, Gus climbed higher than usual, reaching for bigger breadfruit. John recalls putting one breadfruit into the truck while his brother was picking another one. By the time he picked up the second one and went to the truck, he saw a spark on the tree. John knew his brother had gotten shocked and rushed over to him. GFD units arrived at the scene around 11 a.m. and CPR was conducted on the way to Naval Hospital. John states that others who plan to harvest this season to please be safe. Many of our online viewers shared their condolences to Gus's family. After the unfortunate incident, GPA stresses just don't do it. Stay away from power lines, period. Guam's catastrophic drug problem. That's how Governor Lulian Guerrero described Guam's ICE epidemic. She also stated that with the drug problem growing, crimes are increasing.
Those root causes of those crimes is drug addiction. Methamphetamine is the #1 drug.
With the drug problem growing on island, KUAM sat down with recovering addict Jess Mendiola. He shared his emotional and inspiring story of his personal journey of recovery from active addiction to advocacy.
The birth of my kids was not even powerful enough. The threat of losing my family wasn't even powerful enough to pull me away from the drugs.
Mendiola has now been clean and sober for 4 years. Viewers chimed in online during the stream and showed support for Jess's accomplishments. Leilani said she could relate. When he said not even the birth of his kids was powerful enough to pull him away from his addiction, it hit me in the heart because it reminded me of the power of that drug. ICE will steal all that is of value in a person: your belongings, your health, your family, and your self-respect. I'm free of my meth addiction for 20 years now, and I can remember the many times I tried to stop and get right, but always fell back into it. I can only credit my breakthrough to a powerful and mighty God, who set me free because I was not strong enough to do it for myself. I'm so proud of this man and his triumph. and I pray that his story and willingness to share it will inspire others who are held captive to this evil to seek and get the help they need to overcome. Meanwhile, the governor plans on fighting drug-related crime and treating drug addiction with what she calls a wraparound approach: prevention, community, awareness, treatment, interdiction, law enforcement, rehabilitation. Those are the major elements, she says. However, viewers online weren't fully convinced. Al Lapata states, "All I've heard for the past 8 months were blah blah blah. Words mean nothing without actions." And Guan Gripes questions, mobilizing by getting rid of Mandania because the lieutenant governor's sister calls the shots at the police department and doesn't want the people who arrested her man doing drug investigations. Lastly, check out our new digital segment where we feature different jiu-jitsu clubs and countdown to the Marianas Open. The Marianas Open is one of the region's largest Brazilian jiu-jitsu tournaments, and the competitions will be held on August 31st at the FD Phoenix Center in Manila.
Advances in technique and medications used to prevent dental pain have shattered the myth that a dental visit is something to fear. Even the dreaded root canal or wisdom tooth extraction. Swabbing or spraying a topical numbing agent on before the injection and using different techniques and anesthetics can create a relatively comfortable or pain-free injection. Injections are often the most feared procedure. Some patients don't like the sounds or the vibrations of decay removal. If you're still nervous or you gag easy, despite these techniques, very safe oral medicines can be taken before your dental appointment to eliminate all fears, or some clinics use nitrous oxide gas. Pain relievers can easily be prescribed to eliminate mild to severe dental discomfort after any visit. For your Helpful Dental Minute, I'm Dr. Kenny Bourgeois of Paradise Smiles. We shall never know all the good that a simple smile can do.
The KUAM Care Force, in partnership with Custom Fitness, will be hosting a shoe drive this summer until August 31st. We welcome new or gently worn shoes to benefit the GDOE Student Parent Community Engagement Project, providing shoes to those in need. Shoe donations may be dropped off at Custom Fitness in Agatia, Boca Box, or KUAM Studios in Harmon. Let's all help make a difference. Special thanks to Uproar, Kill Cliff, and Boca Box. For more information, visit KUAM.com or send an email to promotions@KUAM.com.
You may have noticed recently that KUAM Communications is going beyond broadcast and cross-platform, giving you original digital content on every social media and digital platform. From original news mini-docs to supplementary features, sponsored content, and original shows and live streaming. We're changing the media game and providing something for everyone. We recognize how you consume media is no longer one size fits all, and we're creating custom content for your needs. It's round the clock, shareable, and of course, interactive, because your voice is an important part of the community conversation. So how do you KUAM? The possibilities are limitless.
We're teaching you how to be safe and how to be a good steward of your community by bringing in Sergeant Paul Tapal from GPD. Now, Sarge, teaching is kind of like the right word, and a gentleman who we had the privilege to interview on our Crime Time live stream this week did exactly that. He's saying he's using his own life experience, the hardships he's going through, to educate others to say, don't make the mistakes that I did, and let me have my story of redemption, like learn from me, because I don't want any Guamanian to go what I went through.
Absolutely, and I really do want to commend Jess Mediola for having the courage and, of course, understanding the importance of why we did that and why we featured him, because of the fact that, we're really going to be addressing the issues with addiction and the battle with crystal methamphetamine. Really, it's something that needs to be brought out in the forefront. and starting that dialogue and understanding where we can help and what we can do, not just as an individual, but as family members. It really is an island issue right now, and it's a community issue in which we all need to come together and come into grips of what is really going on, because it's changed and dynamics have changed. And you know, Jess had alluded to that in '94. That's when he first started, and that was really during the era when crystal meth was taking the island by storm. And you know, we had the introduction of the war on drugs and everything, but 23, 24 years of recovery, you know, or with the battle of addiction, that's a long time. That's 2 decades. And to understand where he
That's
is,
essentially half of his life.
it is.
He's
It
at
is.
43, right?
Yeah, and he had the courage to share about what he lost and everything. But you know, the lessons learned here, it's life teaches us lessons in how we learn and grow, and how we can actually take these life lessons and better ourselves, because you can't rewrite the past. But what you can do is take the lessons that was learned and actually move forward and develop some sort of structure for your new beginning, so to say, and moving forward in what you need to do to really reach and obtain sobriety, because it's important to stay sober, because things change and the struggles are always going to be there when you're working at choosing the path of sobriety, and understanding that it's always going to have that temptation and everything, but understanding what's important. And I think he laid his foundation, his 3 main priorities in life, and what he included was God. And again, in uniform, it's really, you know, but it is what it is. You know, if God put God first, if that spiritual being, the spiritual guidance provided that vision or that sense of insight in how you can actually bring change, then by all means utilize that.
Now, we've gotten a lot of really good feedback. Some questions, some criticism, some praise, from not only that live stream. We've done at least 2 podcasts this week, and we've done a bunch of stories on Guam's war on drugs. Some people are asking, okay, we know that we can report crimes. We can do it on WhatsApp and our neighborhood watch groups, the chat groups. We can, use your app. We can use your website. We can call 911.
Yeah.
But people are asking, what if I think there's suspicious drug activity or drug transactions? They're like, if I see something that looks kind of sketchy, can I still use that kind of stuff?
Absolutely. The Crime Stoppers app, the P3 app, it's readily available. And I'd like to feature that maybe next week to provide that. We covered that last week about WhatsApp and how it's utilized within the parameters of a neighborhood watch program. Now, the P3
I think what they were asking is like, I think something might be happening.
Thinking, knowing, and suspicion is really what leads us into really opening up a case.
They just don't want to falsely accuse somebody.
No, I mean, we can do our part, but if you have a suspicion that there's illegal activity and, particularly drug activity, hey, it's your part. You have to do your part as a steward of your community by at least providing information. If you're part of the neighborhood watch group, submit that information to your respective mayors, or submit that into the officers who are part of the group or a part of the precinct. But the Guam Crime Stoppers, whether you call it in or whether you provide the information via the WhatsApp, the P3 app or online, submit the tips online. That information is shared because it becomes a file in which we can actually pull back from, based on the name, based on the situation that's going on in that location. That's where we work from, and that's how we build cases. And it really is, understanding what we can do as community members.
Okay, Sarge, as always, we appreciate it. And as always, we give you the final word. What should people know heading into the weekend?
DUI checkpoints is going to be out there. The Guam Police Department still maintains that, effort to curb DUI checkpoints and, of course, fatalities. But it's just one of many things in which we need to understand. But, just recapping on what we did over the week, I was really moved by that. And it starts with the individual understanding what they can do to bring change upon themselves and, of course, to their family. But wholeheartedly, the Guam Police Department, with the leadership, with Chief Ignacio, we are going to continue to work at making sure that, the community stays safe and understands that, the community needs to understand that we need their help. And this is a great opportunity for the community to really take a stand against crime and really utilize the Guam Crime Stoppers, or report it to your neighborhood watch group, or just merely come to the precinct and provide us with the information.
Well, you wear the great seal of Guam on your shoulder, and you wear the badge on your heart. So we appreciate it. We know you care.
I take that to heart. So thank you so much for the opportunity again to allow the community to be assisting us with all our endeavors.
All right, Sarge, it's an honor.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. We'll see you next week, and we'll see you right after this break.
Matson is in this community. We've been in this community for decades. We're gonna be in this community for decades to come. Things will get busy, things will get quiet, but we're gonna be here. We're your hometown carrier. And that matters to us.
Reliability is the core of our business. We take pride in ensuring that we arrive in Guam on time as scheduled.